There's statements of what now? Of I've buried?
Not necessarily that you have buried, but we have heard that you made statements that there might be somebody buried in your apartment. More specifically, there's like a crawl space under your apartment.
Most females don't like me because I'm prettier than them. So maybe one of her near boyfriends liked me and she didn't like that.
In 2023, it started quietly, almost a year earlier than anyone realized. A 36-year-old man named Beaman Jr, whom friends called KJ, simply stopped showing up. No calls, no check-ins, nothing. His disappearance barely registered as urgent at first. He had a history of moving between states, of going quiet for stretches at a time. But as the months stretched on with no word from him at all, the people who knew him best started asking questions nobody could answer. Eventually, those questions reached Aurora Police, and a tip landed directly on the doorstep of 29-year-old Cassie Bock, the girlfriend of KJ's best friend, and a woman who swore she barely knew him. While Cassie went on with her life, raising 4 kids, working, keeping to herself in an apartment she said she'd chosen specifically to disappear into, detectives were quietly building a case against her, one contradiction at a time. By the time they finally brought her in, they weren't guessing. They already had a search warrant for her entire apartment, and specifically for a padlocked crawl space tucked beneath her bedroom closet. She walked into that interrogation room believing this was about a missing acquaintance she hadn't seen in years. She had no idea the crawl space was the entire reason she was sitting there. In this documentary, we'll examine the psychological deflection tactics she used in the opening hour, the single slip that collapsed her entire story, and the confession that finally came hours later from a place nobody in that room expected.
I know that my children's father got arrested by Arapahoe County and is getting charged with charges that he did not commit. And I know that I live next door to National Security, and they have been drilling holes in my walls and spying on me. And I know that Aurora is not the kindliest for police brutality, making up stuff. I've been dealing with this for about a year. I'm a Colorado citizen, like born and raised here. This is my first time ever in Aurora, and it has ruined my life.
Okay. Has anyone treated you poorly today?
No.
Okay. Everybody's been respectful.
I've also been respectful and just trying to get over with this.
Oh yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Well, I'll just start by laying it out like this. We are part of the major crime section. Okay, we handle a whole gamut of crimes to include missing persons cases. There's been some information that we've received, and we have a search warrant for your apartment. We have a search warrant for your kind of part of your building as well. I'll kind of start by asking, who do you normally leave your kids with, or who do you?
I don't have anybody.
You don't have anybody? Okay. Is there somebody that you've left your kids with in the past?
Well, yeah, but.
Okay. Who is that?
My mother.
Your mom. What about anybody locally, or any friends of your kids?
I don't have anyone locally. My children don't have any friends here. I don't have any friends here. I keep to myself.
All right, so there's nobody that your kids stay with every once in a while or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Is there any reason somebody would tell us something like that?
I got a job a few months back. My daughter did have a friend at school, and I knew that she lived in the same apartment complex. So I walked up to this lady and asked if she could help me because I needed a babysitter. We became friends, and somebody broke her window, I'm guessing, here a few days ago, and she thinks it's me.
Okay. Why would she think it was you?
Because I just told her a few days prior, as I seen all these undercovers around, to basically f*** off.
Oh, you told this person to f*** off. Okay.
And I told her to
What's her
stay away
name?
from me and my children.
Okay. What's her name?
Sierra.
Okay. So why did you tell Sierra to stay away from you?
Because I caught her in a lie.
And what was that?
Something as simple as she wasn't in the back of her car when I seen her in the back of her car. If you're going to lie about one thing, what are you lying about?
What do you mean by that? She wasn't in the back of her car?
I seen her in the back of her car.
Okay.
And this day there was a bunch of undercovers around outside. So, I've been going through a lot for a year, like I said, I'm not naive to what's around me, and I'm not naive to the world trying to set people up either. I'm just trying to keep me and my children safe.
And I understand that might be difficult. The father of your children, who is that? You said he's currently arrested. Can you tell me who that is?
Mr. Crawford.
Okay. And how long has he been in custody?
Almost a year now.
Okay. Yeah, I imagine that's very hard. We're not trying to make light of the situation. We're not trying to insult you. We're just trying to get some background, okay? And I'm just trying to have a conversation with you so I can get an understanding about you, okay? And I promise I'm going to get to the point here, all right? But I'm just trying to get some background information on you, and that way we can have a good conversation about this, all right?
Some background about me. Would you like to know the background?
Because I've never
about me?
never met you before. That's why. And to have a conversation with you, I have to ask questions about you. Okay, so let's kind of back up to what's happened with you and Sierra over the past, I don't know, a couple weeks or whatever, when you told her to fuck off. Was there any specific, other than you saw these undercovers, was there any specific incident that made you feel like that, or was it just her being in the back of her car?
No, it was just her lying about being in the back of her car.
Okay. And that upset you because you thought there were police around the
No,
apartment?
there were police around.
Okay.
There was undercovers all over, and I didn't understand. And I don't know why she would lie to me about not being in the back of her vehicle when I, clear as day, was right behind her and seen it.
And why did that worry you?
Because I don't like being lied to, for one.
Okay. I mean, anything else? Did you think she was like working with the police, or did you think,
I mean, kind of. The only reason the girl puts stuff in the back of her car is to move car seats so all 4 children can fit in her vehicle.
when you say all 4 children, you mean
My children,
your
and her
kids? And her
children.
kids? Okay. How many times did she take your kids? Or
A few different times.
okay. Did they stay over there a fair amount?
Sometimes.
Was that when you were working?
I didn't work there long, so.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to shift gears just a little bit. As I mentioned before, we have a search warrant for your apartment. Okay? Do you have any idea why we might have a search warrant for your apartment?
No.
Do you think there's anything that we may find in your apartment? Anything that would be very alarming or suspicious?
I mean, I have a meth pipe in my bedroom.
Nah, we're not worried about that.
I have 2 guns that I legally own.
Okay, yeah,
I have nothing else in my house.
we're not worried about that either. Okay, if you were lawfully allowed to possess a firearm, then that's not.
I'm more so worried about my dogs that I feel like you guys are going to shoot.
Okay, well, they seem to be doing just fine. Okay, I don't think you have to worry about that. All right, and I don't see any issues with your dogs getting back to you either. Okay, you don't need to worry about some of those things. So, our concern is that it sounds like you may have made some statements about somebody being buried in your apartment. Okay, I'm gonna cut to the chase. Okay, that's why we're here. That's why we ended up having a search warrant for the apartment. We also understand that the circumstances seem a little bit odd, which is why we're trying to be very accommodating to you. We're going to make sure the kids are taken care of, like all those things. SWAT team didn't just blow the house open or anything like that. We understand that it's kind of an odd situation, so that's why we're kind of going about it the way that we are.
There's statements of what now? Of I've buried?
Not necessarily that you have buried, but we have heard that you made statements that there might be somebody buried in your apartment. More specifically, there's like a crawl space under your apartment.
There is a crawl space. I've locked it because I'm terrified of that.
Okay.
There's people who go under there all the time just messing with me and my kids. It's kind of scary.
Okay.
A backstory on me is in Arvada, I had doors kicked in my faces. I was almost killed by a Banditos biker. I came.
I'm sorry.
That's why the arrest warrants, those all happened in this same time of my life. Okay, I'm running. I ran to Aurora so nobody would find me as this man's about to get back out of prison.
Is that Mr. Crawford?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I
You're
didn't.
fine.
I mixed up what we were talking about. That's the person who was this Bandito. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Oh, okay.
He was, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the crawl space a little bit, okay? Because specifically, that's what's come up. You said you put a lock on it.
Yeah.
When did you put a lock on?
Months back.
Okay. Do you know how specific? I mean, I know that it's kind of hard to say. If it was
No.
December or whatever, but
Like, I think it was like 2 months after I moved here.
When did you
So,
move?
I moved here in February
February of which year?
last year.
Okay, so not 2 months ago.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you lived here, who was staying with you?
Just me
Just you?
and the kids.
Okay. Did you called him Mr. Crawford, and I understand. Does he go by Leroy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did Leroy stay there?
No.
Never.
No.
Okay. Did you ever have anyone else who stayed there? Just and I don't mean necessarily living, but maybe coming and going.
No. Like I said, I've been trying to stay low key.
Okay. Okay. Just for my clarification, can I show you a couple pictures and you can just tell me that I'm talking about the right people?
Sure.
Okay. Well, since we talked about...
Sierra.
Okay.
Leroy.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm on the right track, all right? That we're not mixing up people or anything. Obviously, you and Leroy have a documented history together. So, I mean, that was pretty apparent. And I just want to make sure that we're not just completely off base and talking to the wrong person, okay? When you put this lock on your crawl space, why, you said that there were things that made you afraid. Why specifically put a lock on it? And how do you access that?
How do I access?
Yeah, we haven't been into your apartment, so we don't know what it looks like. How do you actually access that crawl space?
There's a cutout in my closet.
Okay, the closet of your bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay, and was that always like that? Was it?
Yeah.
Because again, I have not been in your apartment.
I
so.
put padlocks on it.
Okay.
There was certain situations of people standing right next to the crawl space entrance from the outside of the house.
You mean the entrances that are on the outside of the building?
Yeah.
Because you can access it from the outside, right? Like,
Yeah.
Can you describe that for me?
Well, it wasn't locked. The public had access to it, and then my house is the first house, and then boom, there's this door that's unlocked, and that's my house. So I'm saying is the public could get into the crawl space and get into my house that I knew of.
So
That's
I could,
scary.
from the outside, get
Yeah.
into the crawl space and
Like
come
that.
into your
Yeah.
in your room. Yeah,
So I
that does
put
seem
padlocks on
that
it.
seems very unsafe to me.
Yeah.
So just getting further into our search warrant, and I know I keep kind of edging towards this crawl space and everything. Our warrant does include going into the crawl space.
While detectives paused to sort out her kids and her dogs, a small act of decency in the middle of all this, Cassie's phone won't stop buzzing. Message after message, over and over, right in the middle of a missing persons investigation into her own home. Whatever's lighting up that screen, it isn't coming up in this interview, and it's the kind of detail that makes you wonder what she was really thinking about, while everyone else in the room was focused on her children.
All right, I'll see if Cody can reach him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Okay, sorry to cut that off,
No,
but
you're
obviously we've got to kind of stay on track here, okay? So we were talking about this crawl space, all right, the one that you put the lock on. Basically, we have some information that there might be somebody buried in there, okay? Where do you think we would be getting that information?
I'm guessing a female who thinks I also broke her windows, or the NSA across the street, or the girl upstairs who's drilling holes down and spying on me and my children and taking every single constitutional right away from me.
Okay. Well, why would they say that?
Dude, why do people do a lot of things they do?
If I had an answer to that question, I'd probably be a rich person, right?
I don't know why they're doing this. Most females don't like me because I'm prettier than them. So maybe one of her near boyfriends liked me and she didn't like that.
Well, in that case, we'll just cut to the chase. Like, we're gonna go into the crawl space. Are we gonna find anything in there?
Not for me, no.
Okay, you say not from you. Would we find it from anybody else?
I've never been inside the crawl space. I have no association with the crawl space besides that there was two men standing right next to the entrance of the outside. And the entrance to my house is right there too. I locked the crawl space because I was scared. Okay, like I said, when I moved here, I had banditos looking for me. I've had all sorts of people that have made me scared. I'm not just gonna sit there and that's why I moved to Aurora. Like I said, I'm trying to stay low. I didn't let anybody know where I lived.
Okay. How about this? Can I show you another picture and maybe you can tell me if you know this person?
Sure.
Okay.
KJ.
KJ? Okay. Do you know his... I recognize the name KJ. Do you know what his first name actually is?
Carl.
Carl. Do you know his last name?
Beaman.
Okay. How do you know KJ?
Me and Leroy used to stay with him
Okay.
a few years back when we were homeless.
Okay.
Him and Leroy were best friends.
They were best friends?
No, they are best friends.
Oh, all right. When was the last time you saw KJ?
I don't know. The day of court.
Which day of court?
It was when I was granted temporary full custody of my children. It was the first time I'd seen KJ in a while. We walked in with Leroy.
Okay, how long ago was that? When do you think?
I don't know, I was still in my old apartment. So, June of 2021?
Okay. So the last time you saw him was in June of 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You said him and Leroy were best friends.
Yeah, they've been friends, I was told, for like 12 years.
Okay. Have you heard from or seen KJ recently?
Mm-hmm. I know that my neighbor, my old neighbor, she said something about he came up missing.
When was that?
I've heard, I don't know, she told me this probably like 8 months ago or something, a year ago.
Where was that neighbor?
Where's the
I'm
neighbor?
gonna set this off. Yeah, we're gonna just put it on silent, okay? Since we got your mom taken care of. I'm sorry, was that in this current complex, the apartment that you're in now?
I mean, yeah.
So the neighbor there said he was missing?
My old neighbor from Arvada, yeah.
From Arvada said that they thought he was missing. Did KJ ever stay at your current apartment?
No,
Did he ever have any interaction with your kids?
no.
Okay. Did your kids know KJ or Carl?
We were just talking about Uncle, you know him as Uncle KJ.
Uncle KJ?
Yeah.
Okay. Would it surprise you to hear that one of your kids made a comment saying that they don't see him anymore and they miss him?
Would it be surprising?
Yeah.
I mean, no, we don't see him anymore.
Okay. Do you know what happened to him?
We don't?
You have no idea what happened to him?
No.
Okay.
I'm guessing that means he's not found?
And him and Leroy, you said were best friends initially, and then you said they are best friends.
Well, Leroy's been in jail for a year.
Right. Since what?
September.
September. That's in Jefferson County. Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Before Leroy was in jail, was KJ still around?
That I'm aware of, yeah.
Okay. And then after, well, when KJ went to jail, did you see him anymore?
After what? I'm sorry.
After Leroy went to jail, did you see KJ anymore?
No.
Okay.
I haven't seen KJ since, like I said, that court date.
Okay. Did, and I'm not fishing for other cases or anything like that, but did Leroy and KJ, did they commit crimes together? We don't have to be specific. I'm not trying to create any other cases or anything like that. But did they do things like that together?
I don't know.
What happened with their relationship?
I don't know.
And how often before you didn't see him? How often did you see him? Like before he went missing or you never saw him again? What was the frequency that you saw KJ?
KJ lived in Arizona.
Okay. Did he come back and live here?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, again, just jumping right to it. I mean, did Leroy and KJ have some sort of falling out, some sort of argument?
I wouldn't know that. I know that I was surprised to see KJ in court with Leroy, just because KJ didn't live out here.
Mm-hmm. When was that?
Like I said, that was July, June-ish of 21.
21.
I got into domestic violence with my children's father. And there was a protection order, so I don't know what his life was like. I tried to stay away from him at that time, too.
From Leroy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Our concern is that we have not been able to locate Carl. Okay. And some of the information that we've gotten said that he was at your staying or came around your apartment several months back, quite a few months back, and that he and Leroy had a close relationship with each other. They were friends, and that there may have been some sort of altercation between the two of them. And we're very concerned about KJ's whereabouts.
I mean, I never allowed KJ in my house.
How come?
KJ never knew where I lived. I didn't want anybody to know where I lived. The world's just shown me a pretty ugly side. Can't really trust anybody.
Well, and I know I keep kind of like asking some of the same questions, all right, but I'm just trying to get an understanding for all this. Were KJ and Leroy arrested together?
I don't know.
Okay. You don't remember, you don't know, you don't remember?
I don't know. I wasn't aware of anything.
Do you ever remember seeing KJ drive a car?
I know his cars because when he used to live here,
What did he drive?
Xterra,
Can you describe it for me?
it's yellow, was his girlfriend.
Okay. Do you remember what license plates it had on? I don't mean a number, I just meant like the state.
Well, it seems that he came from Arizona. I'm sure it was probably an Arizona plate.
Okay. And I'm just asking because that would stand out a little bit, like an Arizona license plate in Colorado. That's what I'm
But
trying
then
to
he had the Xterra in 2014 when we stayed with him.
say. Here.
So, yeah. So
Was that in Arvada?
It's like Kipling area, like way deep Kipling, in Mississippi. But I don't know. I'm saying that he could have potentially still had his old license plate. I don't know. I know I have my Florida license plate.
Is it on your car?
No,
Not that it really matters.
It's not on my car.
Oh, okay. Well, and again, I hate to just beat around the bush. I was hoping that, we could kind of talk about this a little bit more, but our concern is that KJ may have been killed and that Leroy might have either have had something to do with it, might know something about it, something along those lines.
So it sounds like Arapahoe's trying to pin more murder charges on my children's father.
No, it doesn't have...
For his best friend?
It's Jefferson County, and this has nothing to do with Jefferson County.
Jefferson County isn't pressing the charges of the murder of the man who's still alive that Leroy supposedly shot.
The attempted murder. Yeah. It's Jefferson County that has the case. But I spoke with the detective today. But that being said, they don't have anything to do with this, okay? And we are merely just we are doing our very best to, if Carl's still alive, we would like to know where he is. If he's not, we would also like to know where he is. From what we've heard, there's a chance, and it's clear what I'm asking here. We're talking about your crawl space. We had information that he might be in the crawl space.
So the people who here recently have been under my crawl space and been playing frequencies that me and my children have heard and scaring the living daylights out of us, like, is anyone going to look at that then?
Well, as I mentioned, we have a search warrant, and we are going to look under there, okay? Right now, what we're doing is we're trying to make sure your dogs are okay, and we're trying to make sure your kids are okay, all right? So that's kind of our primary focus before we start digging around in there. But I'm talking to you because that could assist us, and that could preempt a lot of the I don't want to say destruction, but invasive work that we would have to do to go look at the crawl space. So these are obviously pretty specific allegations. We didn't just make this up, okay? And that's why I'm being straight with you. I'm showing you these pictures. I'm asking you all this information directly, okay? When we open the crawl space up, what are we going to find in there?
I don't know. I've never been under there.
Okay. Do you know if Leroy ever went under there? Would anyone else, would KJ have had a reason to be under there?
I don't even think KJ knew where I lived.
Okay. I guess I would ask then, and I don't have the direct information what the child said, but they obviously said they were missing Uncle Carl, which you mentioned. Would that have been at a time before you lived in the apartment that they were used to seeing him around, or?
No, it's not. It's never been a frequent thing that KJ's been around.
And I understand young kids. I mean, sometimes kids say.
I mean, he's just an awesome person, dude. Even my children remember him for quite a few different reasons.
Okay. So would you call your relationship with between you guys close? I mean, obviously close enough that your kids like him.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Okay. And it's not strange to you that he's just vanished, gone off the face of the earth?
I didn't know he was gone off the face of the earth. I don't keep track of my children's father's people.
Okay, well, you just said you hadn't seen him for this amount of time.
He's not my friend. He's not my friend.
But he's, as I mentioned before, he's close enough that your kids call him Uncle KJ.
Because he's my children's father's best friend.
Okay, I understand that. I'm just trying to connect the
I don't
dots here.
have friends in my life, so that means my children don't have people in theirs. So when a big fat man comes around and makes my children laugh, and dad's laughing with them, and they talk about and reminisce about times from 20 years back, like, of course my children are going to remember that.
So they see Dad happy, and they see Uncle KJ happy, and they like
people don't visit us at our home. People have never visited us, so the very few people that have, my children remember.
So he did visit you at your home?
But now we're talking about 2020, dude. Like.
Okay, we keep going backwards. I'm sorry, I can't keep
my
those
children.
years straight.
My children haven't seen him in a while. It was never anything frequent because he lived in Arizona with Jess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much else. I know that he was here for a few different court dates for Leroy, and that's all I really know. I don't really know anything.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that we get the situation squared away with your dogs, and we can get through this. We'll obviously, get going with this process. Did you have any questions? Follow up, Jason?
Why are we KJB with Leroy at some court dates.
We had the best friend.
So he was supporting him.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a co-defendant with him.
What's a co-defendant?
He wasn't charged with the same crimes as Leroy.
No, court dates of me and Leroy's domestic violence.
Okay, so these weren't cases Leroy had picked up.
No, they were
Yeah.
cases of me and Leroy.
Okay. Casey, we have good reason to believe that Carl's dead and that you had a hand in burying him under your apartment.
You guys know how big this area is, right?
You didn't do it alone, though. We have reason to believe you and Leroy took care of him after Leroy killed him in your apartment, and that you helped Leroy bury him beneath that crawl space.
Those are some pretty sick allegations, man.
Tell me about it. We have very good reason to believe that. Like Detective Chamberlain said, we've got a search warrant. We're going to go in there and we're going to be finding out the truth.
The truth.
If Carl's in there,
My children's father is looking at homicide for a man that's alive. And Sierra helped me look at the papers. And it looks like when Leroy was sitting in this jail, when I couldn't find him anywhere, that Aurora did some pretty sketchy stuff. Because nothing on that case looks right. And now I'm hearing this.
I don't know anything about that case, Casey.
I know, but like I do, and
this-
it's just
what
kind
we're
of
here
scary
today
that
for
now
is-
there's.
has nothing to do with that case.
I know, but
So don't bring it up. Stay focused. Okay?
I didn't help anybody bury KJ. I haven't seen KJ in forever. Leroy hasn't killed anybody at my house. I have children at my house.
Did Leroy kill Carl?
No, why? How long has KJ supposedly been missing?
We're not going to tell you how long he's been missing. You've not asked us really anything about Carl, though.
That's what I'm asking, is how
it's
long you
because
guys-
you already know what's happened to Carl. You know he's dead. Okay? You haven't shown any concern since we started here that you care where Carl is, or do we have information on Carl? This man is like
just
an uncle
asked
to your
you.
kids.
A man who has seen my children a few times.
You're the one who has described him as an uncle to your kids that makes them laugh. Okay?
I'm done talking.
He's like family.
I'm done talking.
She shuts the whole thing down with 3 words, "I'm done talking," right after detectives tell her they believe Carl is dead and buried under her apartment. That's not the reaction of someone who just found out a friend might be dead. It's the reaction of someone who already knew and just ran out of ways to keep talking around it.
I was never allowed friends because of the relationship I was in. I'm done talking.
Well, that's fine for right now, and we're gonna go ahead and go forward with our search warrant.